Hi everyone, it's Stephanie with Lumeria Star. So welcome back to my channel. Today what we're going to do is going to just do a nice, easy, breezy kind of walkthrough of all the decks I worked with this spring. I've been pretty busy just with various things, and I haven't really had a chance to film a lot of YouTube, so I'm kind of playing catch up. So we're just going to go through a whole bunch of decks I was using that I feel like really embody spring energy. So let's just go ahead and get into the decks, and this will just be kind of like a really nice, easy video to watch or to put on in the background or to get in, some inspiration for decks you might want to work with for spring. So one deck that I feel like gives off that really nice spring energy is the Honasa House Tarot. This is the 5th edition. These are all out of print, so I'm so sorry about that. These decks are hard to find, and if you're a fan of her artwork, she comes out with like a new deck every year, and they sell out pretty quickly, and then like that's it for that edition. So this particular 5th edition is all of her artwork in like these really beautiful green colors. Green just always reminds me of spring energy, how, the world is kind of coming back to life. Nature is coming back to life, at least in the northern hemisphere where I live. So this is a really nice one. I love to pull during the spring. There's a lot of flowers in here as well, a lot of botanical imagery, and I just love it so much. So this is definitely a favorite of mine in my collection. This will not be going anywhere, I don't think. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite. Is this the Strength card? Yeah, I love that. So beautiful. And the High Priestess card is also really beautiful. So that is the Honasa House 5th edition. And you will see another edition in this video. Okay, so I'm just kind of pulling randomly from this little basket I have here. So the next deck I love to work with for spring is the Modern Hue Tarot. This is by Ritual Planner, and this is an RWS deck, which I love RWS. I tend to collect like different variations of them that just kind of depict the artwork in a different way. I really love this deck for spring because of its beautiful watercolor imagery. So it's kind of lends to this like soft energy, and all of the white space also lends itself for me to feel like it's this like crispness, this newness of springtime. So I really enjoy that, and all the really soft colors in this palette, some just pastels. It's just really beautiful. I think it's a really well done, reimagined Rider-Waite Smith while sticking to the original integrity of Pixie's artwork. I also enjoy the fonts too. I'm not always a fan of like when people redo the fonts. I really do love Pixie's original font. I think that still would have been I probably would have preferred Pixie's original font in this deck, but I do think the script is simple. It's nice. I don't dislike it, I guess I will say. So yeah, I really enjoy this quite a bit. And I notice ever since I got it, I tend to pull this out in the spring. So that is the Modern Hue Tarot by Ritual Planner. So this is an awesome deck. Really enjoy that. Okay, so the next deck is new to me. This was sent to me by Rockpool this year. This is the Wise Woman Oracle. Reconnect with She Who Knows. So there is another deck by the same creator. I believe it's the Wild Woman Oracle. So this is the Wise Woman Oracle. This kind of has that like kind of crone energy, wisdom. I love the backs. They are glossy. But again, I feel like I have to sneeze. My allergies are so bad. Maybe not. I love this artwork. Obviously green, I told you, reminds me of spring, so I felt like this was perfect to pull out for the springtime. And this deck has like a wisdom to it, which I really like. There's a lot of different references. So practical magic, we literally have like an image from the movie. What else? Baba Yaga. So we have some goddesses in here. Some mythological fairy tale references with Cinderella. Again, more goddesses. We've got the Sabbats in here. Beauty of the Crone. I think that's a beautiful card. All Hallows Eve. Again, more goddesses. And I also like, where is that card? We have a Stevie Nicks card. So like, how great is that one? And I think this is a really nice reader. I'm really glad I have this in my collection. It paired nicely with the decks I worked with for the month of March. So I'm just really glad I have this one in my collection. And the guidebook is pretty good too, I will say. It talks about the symbolism and gives you like a little reflection on each of the cards. So I think this is really nice for journaling as well, if journaling is part of your tarot practice. So that is the Wise Woman Oracle, and this is a rock pool deck. Love that one. Okay, so the next one I work with, I keep in this cute little drawstring bag. I picked this up years ago on a damaged deck sale, which is why I don't have a box. But this is the Considerate Cat Tarot, and the artwork is just adorable. And obviously, as the name implies, it's all cats. And this art style is just so sweet. Again, we've got a lot of like really soft pastel colors, and and a lot of like flowers and plants, nature scenes, botanicals, and that just, again, really, to me, supports that spring energy. So I do notice that I always reach for this deck come springtime. Like, look how pretty that is. So many different cats. If you're a cat lover, I think you would adore this deck. I believe this is still in print. I'm not sure though, so don't quote me on that, but I do think it is still in print. But this is just such a lovely deck. Oh, so cute. So that's one that I really, really enjoy working with that spring energy. Okay, what is next? We'll do another one that I don't have like a nice box for. This is just a plain white tuck box, which reminds me I really need to find a nice tarot bag for this. You might recognize the backs. This is what I call the Pastel Writerweight Tarot. I found this years ago on Make Playing Cards, so I can't really credit the creator. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, so I'm sorry about that. But you could probably search, if you're interested in this deck, Pastel Writerweight Tarot on Make Playing Cards. But again, I'm a fan of Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. So this is Pixie's original imagery and illustrations. And again, as the name implies, it is all pastel colors. So you can probably see a theme here. I love working with pastel colors for springtime. This just reminds me of like the colors of like dyed Easter eggs. And, you know, that's a childhood memory that I associate come springtime. So I think that's why I really enjoy this deck during that time. I tend to really like having a Rider-Waite-Smith deck per season, which I believe I do at this point. I should do a separate video on that. Would you guys like a video of all of my Rider-Waite-Smith decks and like what I use them for, what I gravitate towards them for, which ones I use per season? If you are interested in that, let me know. That might be a really fun video to make. But that is my Pastel Rider-Waite Tarot, and I absolutely love that for springtime. Okay, another deck in a pouch that I do not have a box for, and you will see why, is because this is 3 decks in one. This is the Oracle of Oddities. This is by Claire Goodchild of Black and the Moon. And these are 3 separate decks put together. So editions 1, 2, and 3. And I think I just tossed the boxes, the little tuck boxes, because I wanted to create this mega deck. And I love, love, love Claire Goodchild's artwork. I think it really blends the two aesthetics that I'm really drawn to, which is like soft, beautiful things, flowers, botanicals, also with the macabre. So we've got skeletons and bones and anatomical, figures and, things that are just macabre and dark. I think those are two aesthetics that I'm drawn to. So she puts them together so beautifully. This is one of the first Oracle decks I ever had, so I had to learn how to read intuitively because there was no guidebook. So this is just a really cherished mega deck in my collection. And I find this is a deck that you can use all year round, and I do use it all year round, but I think something about the pretty flowers and botanicals really lends me to, again, want to pull this out come springtime, and I think it really pairs nicely with a lot of other decks too. So this one, I don't know if this is in print anymore, so I apologize for that if it's not. It might be though, so you could definitely check her Instagram or website to see if that's still a deck that's in print. Okay, another one that I was very excited and was highly anticipated was the final deck of the Seasons of the Witch Oracle. This is the Oara Oracle, so the one that is the spring equinox. And now we have a complete set, and that is so incredibly satisfying. So again, we have deck backs that what's the word I'm saying, or trying to say? They are aligned with all the other deck backs. There's continuity. That's what I'm trying to say. There's continuity there. I love these little like rabbits or bunnies. And again, absolutely gorgeous artwork. Totally embodying that spring energy. And it's so nice now to have the complete set. And I think I want to figure out what tarot decks pair well with these oracle decks, and kind of maybe give each one like a pair it always works with. I think that could be cool. So maybe I'll do a video on that too. Let me know if you're a fan of this series, if that's something you would be interested in. But essentially now we have 8 oracle decks, and I'm wondering if I could like pair a RWS deck with each one, or maybe just a tarot deck. And I don't know, that could be a cool idea. I'm going to file that in my mind as something that I could play around with. So yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. As you can see, really great to work with around Easter time, springtime, spring equinox. And it's just so satisfying to have the complete deck now. So that one is a huge win for me. Okay, another deck that I work with all year round, but again, come spring, I notice I reach for is the Roots and Wings Oracle. So this is by Cat Riles. I believe this one is still in print. We've got these gorgeous backs here. I have the kind of like soft touch, velvety kind of rose petal finish, which I really like. These cards, the artwork is very beautiful, very simplistic. The keywords also, I think, are really wonderful for intuitive readings. And I think this art style lends itself to be really versatile. So I've noticed this pairs really beautifully with a lot of decks that I have, particularly the decks I work with in spring. So that's why it's another deck that I will tend to reach for. And I know this is a fan favorite in the tarot community, and for good reason. It's absolutely gorgeous. And that is my Roots and Wings Oracle. I'm kind of going through these decks fast because I don't want to make this video like, over an hour long. So I'm sorry if it's a little fast, but again, yeah, just wanted to kind of showcase and highlight each deck that I worked with for the past couple months. Give all of them a little airtime. So this deck is newer to me. I really worked with it for the first time in the past 2 months. This is Mother Mort's Carnival of Souls Oracle deck. This is by Matthew Hughes. Did I get the name right? Matt Hughes. And it's the same creator as the Ethereal Visions Tarot. So this one is really interesting. I don't really know how to use it, but I just picked it up because it just looks so gorgeous, to be quite honest. Like, this one was totally like, the aesthetic got me, but I don't know, not quite sure how this fits into my practice yet. We've got these beautiful like matte green edges. This artwork is absolutely stunning, as Matt Hughes's artwork really is. It's got this like Carnival of Souls kind of like freak show, sideshow, macabre vibe. So of course I'm into that. Not really sure how this, again, is going to fit in my tarot practice, but something about it said to me, you know what, pick it up and you can figure out later how you want to use this deck. So that's what I did. And so far I was just doing like 1-card pulls just to get to know this deck. But as you can see, the artwork is stunning. We've got like foiling on a lot of the cards. It's just so detailed. Beautiful. Look at this Witch in the Well card. Like, are you kidding me? These are stunning. Mother Mort. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with this deck, but I'm glad I have it for right now. It comes with, I can show you, we've got a little guidebook here that has the backstory of each character and the interpretation. So that's pretty cool that you get a little backstory. And then it comes with this gorgeous hardcover book. It did also come with this beautiful, again, all about the details here, and an admissions ticket for the Carnival of Souls, which I think is just such a cool touch. And then this is, what is this here? This is like the show, I guess, like when you go to the show. So it's broken up into different acts, Act 1 through Act 7. And I haven't read through this yet, but it's got like a storytelling aspect to it as well. So again, I haven't gotten into this yet, but I think that's so cool. I think this is, I mean, you could see this is just so gorgeously done. And I was like, okay, I'm picking it up. Don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's here and I'm really glad that I have it. And if you have this deck, let me know what you think of it and like how you use it. Okay, so let me take a sip of my tea. And we will go on to the next deck I use, which I have in my pouch here. And this is another favorite of mine. This is the Future Ancestor Tarot. This is by Lexa Luna Studio, and she is a Filipina creator, and I am also Filipina as well, so I feel deeply connected with this deck. It is a gorgeous linen finish, and the artwork is just so soft, so minimalistic, very soothing, very grounded. You could see we've got all of our characters in this deck, and then there's just different little botanical elements, some, you know, leaves, like almost like pressed flowers. And this deck feels really important to me personally. I believe she created this during a time, I think she says in her little white book, during a time of deep grief. So you can really feel that in the deck. There's a sense of grieving and loss, and you can also feel there's a lot of love for family and ancestry and connection. So those are just, you know, themes I'm kind of exploring right now in my own life. And this deck just feels so special. I don't think you need to be grieving to enjoy this deck. I think anyone can benefit from using this deck. I think it's just that well done. And I have a larger guidebook, which I don't know where that might be on my bookshelf, so I'm not going to pull that right now. But even just the little white book that comes inside the tuck box, even though it's just a few words per card, they're very impactful, and I use this a lot. Like, just say Virtue, number 5. So that would be the Hierophant. I can just read it. Reflect on the lessons, rituals, and support that has shaped who you are today and what lessons you will continue to teach moving forward. So I think there's just like a lot you can do with this deck. It's profound. It feels just grounded. It feels wise. It feels like there's a lot of wisdom in it. And this is a deck I use all year, but I do also like to take it out during the spring months. So that's the Future Ancestor Tarot. It's got that very gentle energy, and I really love that. Okay, so next deck, another one we have in a little cute matching pouch. I love this skull and crossbones pouch. So let me open this up. And this is another mega deck of sorts, but not really. It's just got little expansions. And as you can see, perfect bag match. So this is the Momento, Mori, Oracle, and Lenormand deck. So I have the base deck. This is by Claire Goodchild as well, of Black and the Moon. So I have the base deck, and I think I bought like one expansion. It might have just been the general expansion pack. Admittedly, I don't really use this for Lenormand because Lenormand is still not a system that I have gotten super well versed in. Like, I can read it, but it's just not my system of choice. So admittedly, I remove a lot of the Lenormand cards unless I can read them as Oracle. So some I have, some I kept. But really, I just use this as a Lenormand deck, or sorry, I use this as an Oracle deck, and it's just wonderful. Again, with the botanicals. So anytime I see botanicals, I think spring. And of course, it blends that beautiful kind of dark and macabre feel. So this one, of course, is a lovely one that I pull for spring, but also all year round. So that is the not Oracle of Oddities. This is the Memento Mori, Oracle, and Lenormand. So we'll put that one off to the side. Okay, so I've got just a few more. This one is new to me this year, although I did have a previous edition, but this is the newest edition. This is the Heroine Tarot, and I am so glad this deck found its way back to me. So it's meant to be, because I did regift this to a friend who really loved it, so I kind of sent it on its way. And another one came back to me, and that's just how the universe works. I love these backs so much. This deck is just feminine, fashion, like, it's so good. It's just, it's high fashion. She's couture. She is fierce. She is, it just feels like flipping through like a Vogue magazine. So you're really just like high fashion meets tarot, and I love that about this deck. Also, it's all female imagery, so the kings are female presenting figures. Love this Queen of Wands card, so pretty. They're all just so good, and I'm really grateful this deck made its way back to me, which means it was meant to be. So I'm so glad. Like, look at these dresses. Oh my gosh. Absolutely love. And then the Little White Book is pretty good too, I will say. So I use this pretty frequently when I use this deck. So I got this recently, so that's why I used it for spring. I think this deck is great year round. But again, a lot of the colors kind of lend itself to spring. The white space kind of gives me spring vibes. So I think that one is perfect to work for in spring. So that's the Heroine Tarot, and that is by Gina. I'm not going to pronounce this, but you can see her name here. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, only a few more. Another huge fan favorite of mine for springtime and all year round is the Tarot Decarletides. These are probably some of my favorite cards. Definitely some of my favorite card backs. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Look how pretty that is. I love how small these are. The artwork is absolutely stunning. It's feminine, it's delicate, it's a mishmash of a lot of things. There's like mythological, references, fairy tale references, like the Princess and the Pea here. There's pop culture references in here. David Bowie makes an appearance. Different artists' work makes appearances in here. It's like a really interesting mishmash of like random things, but it just works and it is cohesive. And as you can see, the color palette, to me at least, lends itself to springtime. I really love it quite a bit. Look how beautiful that world card is. This one's mass market if you don't have it, and this artwork speaks to you. I highly suggest picking it up. It's really inexpensive, and this is a Fournier deck. So this is by, what's the creator's name? Does it say on the box? I don't think it says on the box. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. One of my favorite decks. Okay, as I said, there is another Honasa House Tarot. I believe this is the 4th edition. It doesn't say on the box, but it's the edition that are these long and skinny cards, which I will admit are really hard to shuffle. So I kind of just hand over hand them. It's a little difficult. But as you can see, it's the same artwork as the deck I showed before, just in like a different color palette. And then the card shape is different. So it has a different feel. But again, it still has all these flowers and botanicals in it. The color palette with the purples here, not the greens, but the purples and the lavenders and these like kind of like gold and sage green colors, again, really remind me of spring, just kind of starting to come alive again. So this is another one I typically, since I've had this deck, I will reach for in the springtime. Absolutely beautiful. I have nothing but good things to say about these decks. They're just stunning. So that is the Honasa House Tarot, and I believe this is the 4th edition. So I have the 4th and the 5th of this deck. And this one's out of print, so I apologize for that. Okay, 2 more decks. I went hard with Claire Goodchild in spring, and this is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. This is the Ephemera edition. This is probably one of the older decks in my collection. One of the first ones in my tarot journey, and I absolutely love it. This is now since mass market, so you can pick this up really reasonably priced. That includes a guidebook. I do actually also have that one because I really wanted the guidebook, and then I just use the mass market deck as like a deck I travel with because this one is out of print, so I really, try not to travel with this because I'm afraid I'll ruin it. But this deck just holds a lot of really good memories for me, great energy. This deck was with me early on in my like witchy path, so it just holds that sacred energy and those memories. So this deck feels very important to me in my tarot practice. If I had to like name top 10 decks, let's say, that were impactful in my tarot practice, this would definitely be one of them. That's also maybe another video idea too. Let me know if that interests you at all. I have all these ideas all of a sudden, and I just need time to film. Time and energy to film, I should say. I often have time and no energy. That's the problem. Okay, and the last deck I worked with for spring is the Hedge Botanical Oracle. This is by Ciolo Thompson, and this is currently mass market with Llewellyn. So if you open it up, you'll see exactly why I like to use this for spring. Look at these very pretty backs. I also noticed there's a theme here, decks with a lot of white space I like to work with for spring. But anyway, you can see it's all botanicals, and I love using and working with botanical and flower energy for the spring. And this is a really versatile deck that you can use on its own. This is a great deck to pair well with others. The keywords are great, so you could just use it by itself, but also the guidebook is awesome. So I'll show you that in 1 minute. So the guidebook is a really nice, well done guidebook. And you can see that each card here kind of gives you the background of like that plant or botanical. And then it also connects you back to the tarot. So you can read it as like tarot, read it as divination, or simply just learn about that botanical. So this book you can kind of use multiple ways, and I really appreciate that a lot. So that's just like a really lovely one. I got this one in a trade years ago, and I always felt like that was such a good trade for me. I don't even know what I traded it for, like what I traded away, but I was so happy to get this deck in my collection. So yeah, guys, let me just kind of put some decks in here. So these were the decks I worked with for spring, just some of them. And I'd love to hear from you all, like what your thoughts are on some of these decks. What did you work with for spring? And also, you know, some of the video ideas I had. Are you interested in me doing any of those? So definitely let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this video, please feel free to give it a like. If you're new here, subscribe. That just helps me. I'm a small channel and I just like to talk about tarot and divination and witchy things. So welcome and happy to have you here. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of everything, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.